Sir, delicious. Delicious.
Hello and welcome to A Paladin's Impressions, where I took a look at games I just don't have the time to review right now. Today we're taking a look at Cook, Serve, Delicious. I've actually reviewed the previous game this developer did called The Oil Blue, and it was definitely an interesting micromanagement game where you had to drill for oil on these various islands. Instead of drilling for oil, though, you're now managing a restaurant. In Cook, Serve, Delicious, you have two basic modes. You have to prep your menu for the day, purchase upgrade food, manage equipment, and decide ultimately what you're going to cook for the day. And then, when you begin, the majority of the game starts. As you can see in the background, you're basically tasked with filling out orders, and this will require a combination of key presses determined by whatever food you're being asked to serve. You only serve one food per customer, and as far as my main complaint with this game, I don't like that it's just one food per customer. I feel like the chances of somebody coming into a restaurant just ordering fries or just ordering a burger is so unlikely. I don't know. Maybe I'm just complaining about the fact that I can't just fill out full meals for these people. I don't know. But basically, you have to fill out the order as quickly as possible and get these people through. At first, you only start out with about 4 slots, I believe, and then the game over time expands to up to 8 slots at a time. And this can be where the main challenge of the game comes from. These orders come rapid fire at rush hours, generally morning, afternoon, and night, where you'll just get flooded with orders and you have to process them as fast as you can while you're in this rush hour so you can get more money. However, you have to also be careful not to screw up orders, which is very easy to do. You're basically going to be required to remember every key press that you need for every single item for every single food. It's not possible to get any faster by reading both what the customer wants and reading the options on the right. As you can see, this can be very, very frantic, and at the same time, while you're filling out these orders, you have to pay attention to 2 other things. When food is cooking, you have to make sure it doesn't overcook. When you have other objects come in, like cleaning the restroom or cleaning dishes, you have to make sure those don't slide off the left of the screen, otherwise you take a penalty for that. And as you can see in this one, I didn't clean the bathroom, so whoopsie daisy. It's a very frantic pace that in a single day you'll have a slow period, a fast period, slow period, fast period, slow period. And that's generally what each day is going to be. There isn't really a variety to it, doesn't really change the pace of it. What also will make this game a little bit more difficult, or very difficult, is when you add different foods, change what type of foods you have at the same time, and so on. There are a decent selection of foods in CSD, of American, Oceanic, Mexican, and Italian foods. I think I'm missing a few others, which certainly add a little bit of flavor. It does, however, it is fun. I'm not gonna, anything else I say, I still enjoyed this game for the 8 hours that I put into it. However, even so, I felt like there's a bit of repetitiveness that I didn't really... I feel like the game doesn't unlock a lot of food, a lot of different things that you can do quickly enough. It definitely feels like this is a very long campaign. I'm only up to a 3-star restaurant, and it took me 8 hours of just solid work. I don't even want to know how long it would take me to get to a 5-star restaurant, which is ultimately what you're trying to be. But it took me 8 hours to get this far, and the challenge is only going to get harder because when you get up to 4-star and when you get up to 5-star, you can no longer serve these simpler dishes. They have to be very complex dishes, and there's certain timings and rhythms to them that are very difficult to get across. It's in that case, there's definitely a lot to experience, but it can also take a very long time to get anywhere, and that's ultimately maybe my main complaint with it, is that it just takes too long to get through the main campaign. Mostly because this game reminds me way too much of my time working at a fast food restaurant. You know, hats off to them. They somehow managed to create the perfect fast food restaurant simulator game. You're overworked, underappreciated, and underpaid. I mean, you can't get more perfect analogy than that for this game. Don't get me wrong, it's still a lot of fun, but it is a very stressful game. I still like these type of games because I like multitasking. I like queuing up what needs to come next in my head and deciding, okay, I'm going to do this, and this, and okay, this is still cooking, so I need to do this, and then I have to get back to that, and you know, it's this very frantic pace that just requires you to stay on top of everything, and it is compelling to me. Maybe not fun, but very compelling gameplay that so few games do right. These guys, though, seem to do it right. I just wish it wasn't about a restaurant, because it brings back too many memories, to be honest. Too many memories of just such horror that I don't want to remember it. The only thing that they are actually missing for a true fast food experience is the drama with your coworkers, and just, yeah, that's where they forgot it. Granted, you could still have that because there is local co-op, and you and your friends with controllers can all hook into your computer and play this game as well. Don't know how many people are going to do that, but hey, it's an option. Ultimately, I don't have a lot of complaints about it, other than I just feel like the menu is maybe a little more boring than it should have been, and that you kind of get drip-fed little pieces of content over the long haul, and it reminds me too much of my restaurant days, which is not actually a condemnation on the game. It's actually a plus that they somehow got the experience right, even from a game. Some of my more memorable games of the past couple of years are just those that take very boring aspects of our lives of jobs and make them very compelling, if not fun. You can add to the challenge by taking bets. There are some curated bets, but there are also random bets that you can take, and these can be challenging. You can restart the day if you screw up, but there are just some bets that are going to be really hard to pull off. You just have to be very perfect and very precise. So, you've got a single-player campaign with optional bonus objectives. There are also cooking events that you can do from time to time, and these can be pretty enjoyable. You've also got the local co-op expansion that came out for the game that's pretty interesting, you know, if you really want to go for those really high scores. And yeah, that's Cook Serve Delicious. As I said, there are some really good aspects, really compelling aspects to this game, and they did a really good job with it, all things considering. And I think that they have done, you know, a good, reasonable job for that. If you're interested, give it a check out on Steam. It's very cheap from what I recall. And I have no complaints with it. There isn't much of an options menu, but the game doesn't really need it. Just lets you tweak controls and tweak key commands for certain food items. So you have those options as well. So there you go. My first impressions, thoughts on Cook Serve Delicious. Don't know if I'm actually going to review this game. As I said, it takes a long time to get through it, and I'm just not really that compelled to get through it. But that being said, there you go. Thank you for watching. Please leave feedback on this video if you liked what you saw. I certainly want to keep improving this format. Until then, I've been KingIsaacLinksr, and I will see you next time.